What would you do if you found a billionaire's wallet? Would you keep it? Or return it hoping for something more? Imagine a 7-year-old girl who did the unexpected and ended up changing her entire family's life forever. Oh, a simple act of kindness. But there's more to the story. How did one small gesture lead to a romance that no one saw coming? And what happened next will leave you speechless. Stay tuned because this story is about to blow your mind. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on more incredible stories like this one. Let's dive right in. Christmas was only days away and Lagos felt different. Softer, warmer, kinder. Fairy lights wrapped around palm trees, car horns sang in impatient harmony, and shops glowed with festive colors. Inside the upscale shopping complex on Victoria Island, cool air brushed against polished marble floors, reflecting gold and red decorations hanging from the ceiling. 7-year-old Evelyn walked beside her mother, Amaka, holding a small paper bag filled with Christmas ribbons. Evelyn's eyes sparkled as she took in everything: the giant Christmas tree by the atrium, the ornaments shaped like stars, and the distant sound of carols playing through hidden speakers. "Slow down, Evelyn," Amaka said gently, smiling. She was slim and elegant, her creamy skin glowing under the warm interior lights, dressed simply but beautifully. Evelyn nodded, but her feet kept bouncing with excitement. That was when she saw it. Right there on the ground, near a tall decorative plant, lay a dark brown leather wallet. It looked expensive, too neat, too heavy to belong to just anyone. Evelyn stopped suddenly. "Mummy," she said, pointing. Someone dropped something. Before Amaka could respond, Evelyn had already bent down and picked it up with both hands. The wallet felt heavy, serious, like it carried a story inside it. She opened it slightly, just enough to see neatly arranged cards and a glimpse of cash that made her eyes widen. "We should wait here," Evelyn said firmly, repeating words she had heard many times before. "The owner will come back." Amaka looked at her daughter with surprise, then pride. They stood quietly near the spot, people passing by, music playing, Christmas joy floating all around them. Minutes later, a tall man rushed into the complex, his confident steps now hurried, his face tight with worry. He wore a finely tailored igbada, his shoes shining like mirrors. His eyes scanned the floor desperately. Then he saw Evelyn, and the wallet in her hands. He stopped in his tracks. Relief washed over his face as he walked toward them. "That's my wallet," he said, his voice steady but emotional. "I've been looking everywhere." Evelyn held it out carefully. "You dropped it, sir." The man smiled, a genuine, grateful smile. "Thank you. You're very honest." His name was Desmond, a billionaire known for power and wealth. But in that moment, something small and unexpected had already begun to change his life. And Evelyn's too. Desmond took the wallet from Evelyn's small hands and opened it immediately, checking its contents. Everything was intact. He exhaled slowly, then laughed under his breath, shaking his head in disbelief. "You have no idea what you just saved me from," he said, straightening up. He reached into the wallet and pulled out a thick bundle of cash. "Please take this. It's a reward." Amaka's eyes widened. She gently placed her hand on Evelyn's shoulder. "No, sir," she said politely but firmly. "We didn't return it for money." Desmond paused. People rarely refused him, especially not money. He studied Amaka more closely now. Her calm composure, the quiet dignity in her voice, the way she stood protectively beside her daughter. He smiled again, this time with curiosity. "Then allow me to do something else." "Anything at all," he said, turning to Evelyn. "Tell me, young lady, what can I do for you in return?" Evelyn looked up at her mother, then back at Desmond. Her fingers tightened around the hem of her dress. For a moment she said nothing. The Christmas music in the background softened, and her eyes began to shine with tears. "Please," she said, her voice trembling. "Can you take my mummy out on a date?" The words landed like thunder. Amaka gasped softly. "Evelyn." But Evelyn continued, her small voice brave. "She's lonely. My daddy died a long time ago. Sometimes at night she cries when she thinks him sleeping." The busy shopping complex seemed to fade away. Desmond felt his chest tighten in a way no business deal ever had. He crouched slowly, bringing himself eye to eye with Evelyn. "You hear her cry?" he asked gently. Evelyn nodded. "I just want her to smile more. Especially for Christmas." Silence followed. Then Desmond stood up, deeply moved. He looked at Amaka again, really looked this time, and saw not just beauty but strength, sacrifice, and a woman who had been carrying life alone. "I would be honored," he said sincerely. "If your mother agrees." Amaka was stunned. Her lips parted, but no words came out at first. Embarrassment, shock, and emotion rushed through her all at once. I don't even know your name, she said softly. Desmond smiled. Desmond. She nodded slowly. Amaka. Evelyn wiped her tears, hope already returning to her eyes. They exchanged numbers, the moment feeling unreal yet strangely warm. As Desmond walked away, he turned back once more, looking at Evelyn. You have a very big heart, he said. Never lose it. Evelyn smiled. Above them, Christmas lights shimmered brighter, as if quietly celebrating the beginning of something no one had planned, but everything had needed. 2 evenings later, Christmas Eve arrived with a gentle breeze and the distant sound of fireworks popping across the city. Inside a modest but tastefully decorated apartment in Surulere, Amaka stood in front of the mirror, smoothing down her dress for the 3rd time. The living room reflected a modern Nigerian interior, cream walls, wooden slat panels, a marble-top center table, and framed attire artwork hung carefully in place. Soft yellow lights warmed the space, and in the corner stood a Christmas tree decorated with fairy lights, red ornaments, and neatly folded ankara bows. Mummy, you look beautiful, Evelyn said from the sofa, her legs swinging excitedly. Amaka smiled nervously. Thank you, my love. I just hope this isn't a mistake. A soft knock came at the door. Amaka's heart skipped. When she opened it, Desmond stood there holding a small bouquet of white roses and a neatly wrapped box of chocolates. He was dressed simply this time. No agbada, no entourage, just a crisp shirt, tailored trousers, and a calm smile. Merry Christmas Eve, he said warmly. Evelyn ran forward. Uncle Desmond. He laughed, kneeling to her level. I see you're ready to inspect my behavior. Amaka invited him in. Desmond paused briefly, taking in the space. The clean lines, the careful details, the love that filled the home. It wasn't luxury, but it had soul. Dinner was simple but heartfelt. Amaka had cooked jollof rice, grilled chicken, and steamed vegetables. Soft high-life music played in the background while Christmas lights blinked gently on the walls. As they talked, something unexpected happened. They relaxed. Amaka spoke about raising Evelyn alone, about working long hours and still trying to keep joy alive in her home. Desmond listened, not distracted, not hurried. He spoke about the loneliness that came with wealth, the quiet nights in big houses that echoed with emptiness. At one point, Evelyn yawned dramatically. I think Santa is calling me, she announced. Desmond smiled. Then we must obey Santa. After Evelyn fell asleep, the conversation grew softer, deeper. They sat on opposite ends of the sofa, laughter fading into thoughtful silence. Desmond broke it gently. You're an incredible woman, Amaka. Her eyes shimmered. And you're kinder than I expected. Outside, fireworks lit the sky. Inside, something fragile and real took its first breath. As Desmond stood to leave, he hesitated at the door. May I see you again? He asked. Amaka nodded. Yes. And just like that, Christmas Eve became the night hope returned to their home. The days after Christmas flowed gently, like harmattan breeze through open windows. For the first time in years, Amaka woke up smiling without forcing herself to. Her phone buzzed often now, not with reminders or worries but with thoughtful messages from Desmond. Good morning. I hope you and Evelyn slept well. Don't forget to eat today. They met again and then again. Sometimes Desmond took them out, to quiet restaurants with tasteful Nigerian modern interiors, soft lighting, carved wood accents, and subtle Christmas decor still lingering in the corners. Other times he came over, helping Evelyn with her homework while Amaka cooked. Evelyn noticed everything. You laugh more now, she said one evening, watching her mother stir soup. Amaka paused, then smiled. Do I? Evelyn nodded confidently. Yes. Your eyes are happier. Desmond too was changing. The man who once lived surrounded by luxury but empty rooms now found peace sitting on a modest sofa, listening to Evelyn narrate her day. He had built empires, but this felt more meaningful. One quiet night, after Evelyn had gone to bed, Desmond and Amaka sat on the balcony. Lagos glowed below them and Christmas lights still twinkled in nearby windows. I didn't expect this, Amaka said softly. I've learned to survive alone. Desmond turned to her. And I've learned that money can't fill every space. But you make things feel whole. Their hands brushed. Neither pulled away. Love didn't rush in. It walked in carefully, respectfully, asking permission, healing old wounds, and bringing laughter where tears once lived. Weeks turned into months. By the next Christmas season, the house felt fuller. A larger tree stood proudly in the living room of a newly designed home, still Nigerian modern in style, but warmer now. Cream walls, gold accents, wooden textures, and family photos framed neatly along the hallway. On Christmas morning, Evelyn tore open a gift and froze. "Mummy, Uncle Desmond," she shouted. "We're all matching pajamas." Laughter filled the house. As they stood together, wrapped in warmth and joy, Desmond looked at Amaka and realized the truth. This wasn't just love. This was home. The second Christmas arrived quietly but powerfully, like a blessing that had finally found the right address. Their new home sat in a serene estate, elegant yet inviting. Inside, the modern Nigerian interior design told a story of balance. Polished marble floors softened by hand-woven rugs, warm wooden panels lining the walls, brass accents glowing under recessed lighting, and large windows dressed in sheer curtains that let sunlight dance freely through the rooms. The living room was dressed for Christmas. A tall tree shimmered with gold, ivory, and deep red ornaments. Subtle touches of Ankara ribbon wrapped around the branches, and beneath it sat carefully wrapped gifts. Soft gospel carols played in the background, blending with the gentle hum of the city outside. Evelyn, now 8, twirled around the room in excitement. "This is the best Christmas ever," she declared. Amaka stood near the window, watching her daughter with a smile that carried peace instead of pain. She wore a simple cream dress that matched her skin beautifully, her elegance effortless. For the first time in years, her heart felt light. Behind her, Desmond watched quietly. He had faced boardrooms filled with powerful men, signed billionaire deals, and conquered impossible challenges. Yet none of those moments made his heart beat the way it did now. "Amaka," he called gently. She turned. "Yes?" Desmond walked toward her, his expression serious but tender. Evelyn, sensing something important, slowly stopped spinning and watched. Desmond reached into his pocket and knelt. The room went still. Amaka's breath caught as he opened a small velvet box, revealing a simple but stunning diamond ring, elegant, timeless, intentional. "I didn't plan to fall in love," Desmond said quietly. "But you and Evelyn changed my life. You taught me what home means, what joy feels like, what love truly is." Tears welled in Amaka's eyes. "I don't want another Christmas without you," he continued. "Amaka, will you marry me?" Evelyn gasped. "Mummy, say yes." Amaka laughed through her tears, nodding. "Yes, yes I will." Desmond slid the ring onto her finger as Evelyn jumped between them, wrapping her arms around their waists. The Christmas lights blinked brighter as if celebrating with them. Later that night they sat together by the tree. Evelyn rested her head on Desmond's shoulder. "Uncle Desmond?" she asked sleepily. "Yes, my princess. Thank you for taking my mummy on a date." Desmond smiled, his eyes moist. "Thank you for finding my wallet." Outside, fireworks lit up the Christmas sky. Inside, a family was sealed, not by wealth but by honesty, love, and a child's pure heart. That Christmas wasn't just a celebration. It was a promise. The wedding took place the following December, just days before Christmas, because some seasons were too meaningful to ignore. The venue was a breathtaking blend of elegance and culture. The hall was styled in modern Nigerian interior design, cream and ivory drapes, wooden panels, gold accents, and soft ambient lighting that reflected gently off polished floors. Tall floral arrangements of white roses and baby's breath lined the aisle, intertwined with subtle Christmas greenery and warm fairy lights. Guests arrived in rich colors and joyful chatter filled the air. Soft instrumental carols played in the background, blending perfectly with traditional Nigerian love songs. Backstage, Amaka sat calmly as her makeup was finished. She wore a fitted white lace gown that highlighted her slim figure, her creamy skin glowing under the lights. Her veil rested gently over her shoulders and her smile was peaceful, no fear, no doubt. "You look like a prayer answered," one of her friends whispered. Amaka smiled. "I feel like one." In another room, Desmond had just his cufflinks, his heart racing in a way no business deal had ever caused. Dressed in a crisp white suit with subtle gold detailing, he took a deep breath and whispered, "Thank you" to no one and everyone at once. Then the music changed. Evelyn stepped onto the aisle first. She wore a soft champagne-colored dress, her hair adorned with tiny pearls. As the flower girl, she scattered petals with joy, her smile lighting up the room. Guests wiped tears, already moved by her presence. When Amaka appeared, the room fell silent. She walked slowly, gracefully, her eyes locked on Desmond. In that moment, there was no past pain, no lonely nights, only love and a future waiting. Desmond's breath caught. She was more beautiful than he remembered. Their vows were simple but powerful. "I promise to choose you every day," Desmond said, his voice steady but emotional. "To love you, protect you, and honor the family we have built together." Amaka replied softly, "I promise to walk beside you, to love you in abundance and in scarcity, and to never forget how we found each other, through honesty and kindness. When they said I do, the room erupted in applause. But the moment that broke everyone was when Desmond turned to Evelyn, knelt, and held her hands. From the day you picked up my wallet, he said, you became my blessing. I promise to love you as my own daughter, always. Evelyn hugged him tightly. I already chose you, she whispered. Laughter and tears filled the hall. The reception that followed was pure joy. Guests danced, laughed, and celebrated under warm lights and Christmas decor. The cake was cut amid cheers, and Evelyn danced between her mother and Desmond, glowing with pride. As the night drew to a close, the new family stood together, watching snow like confetti fall. What began with a wallet on the ground had become a marriage, a family, and a story that would be told every Christmas. And for Desmond, Amaka, and Evelyn, love had finally found its way home. The morning after the wedding felt quieter than the celebration, but fuller in meaning. Soft sunlight streamed into the master bedroom, filtered through sheer cream curtains that swayed gently with the breeze. The house, now officially their home, glowed with the warmth of thoughtful modern Nigerian interior design. Polished wood floors, textured walls, brass fixtures, and subtle Christmas accents still lingering from the festivities. Amaka woke first. She lay still for a moment, listening. Somewhere down the hall, she heard a soft giggle. Then another. Evelyn. Amaka smiled and turned to Desmond, who was already awake, watching her with affection. We're married, she whispered, almost in disbelief. Desmond smiled back. We're family. They followed the sound of laughter to the kitchen, where Evelyn stood on a stool, attempting to make breakfast with help from the housekeeper. She wore oversized pajamas and a headband that kept slipping down her forehead. Good morning, Mr. and Mrs. Desmond, she announced dramatically. Laughter filled the room. Breakfast was simple, tea, bread, eggs, but it felt ceremonial. They sat around the dining table, sunlight bouncing off the marble surface, and talked about nothing and everything. Later that day, they returned home from a short outing to find something unexpected. In the living room, under the tall Christmas tree, sat a beautifully framed document. Evelyn picked it up and frowned. What's this? Desmond knelt beside her. It's adoption papers, he said gently. If you'll allow me, I'd like to be your father. Officially. The room went silent. Amaka's eyes filled with tears. Evelyn stared at the paper, then at Desmond. Slowly, she smiled, the kind of smile that comes from safety and certainty. I already am your daughter, she said. But yes. Desmond pulled her into a tight hug. Amaka joined them, her tears falling freely now, not from pain but from gratitude. That evening, they sat on the balcony together, wrapped in soft throws, Christmas lights twinkling around them. Below, the city hummed with life. Mummy, Evelyn said thoughtfully, if I didn't pick up the wallet, would all this still happen? Amaka kissed her hair. Kindness always finds its way back, she said. Desmond looked at them both. And love always shows up when you least expect it. Inside, the house glowed with warmth. Outside, the stars shone brightly. What started as a small, honest act by a little girl had grown into a lifetime of love, laughter, and family. And every Christmas after that, they told the story again, not of a billionaire's wallet, but of a child's heart that changed everything.